unsettled. She's getting used to it, but we're working on it, aren't we? Hey dudes, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Now recently in one of our youth groups called Speak, which is all about creative discipleship, creative ways of expressing how we're feeling, how we're doing, particularly things about our relationship with God. In that group, we were doing a little series on mental health. Now, one of the tasks we did was to choose any kind of mental health condition, whether that be anxiety, eating disorders, split personality, paranoia, whatever. And we wanted to explain that health condition within the style of a children's story, very personified, very metaphorical, very simple. Because so often nowadays, these mental health conditions can be really overcomplicated, or it feels like there's so much information out there, but different aspects are taken from different people's personal experience, and that varies for everyone. Yet at the same time, it can feel like there's just not enough information out there. There's not enough people talking about these things, and there's a lot of uneducation out there because of that. So writing it as a children's story takes away the pressure to perfectly define what that mental health issue is, and instead just to focus more on the message. So let's have a listen to the story of Terry the tiger. In Zooville live many animals: hamsters, otters, crawlers and trotters. Every week at the Zooville town meeting, the animals would come to their labelled seating. Polly the pig and Catherine the cat, Tommy the tortoise and Bertie the bat. But the animals felt fear when they heard Terry the tiger was near. His long tail and sharp claws, the way he strode longly on all fours. Terry was the biggest, the fastest and the strongest. If there was a race, he'd run the longest. The pig, the cat, the tortoise, the bat would run back home and hide under the mat. They'd close the blinds and lock the doors and listen out for tiger paws. Benny the bunny was new to town. He'd hop on hills and all around. He hopped to Polly's to say hello, but it was quiet, so on he'd go. He hopped to Catherine's, but no reply, so on to Tommy's he'd pop by. Tommy's house was locked up tight, and at Bertie's place no bat was in sight. Benny the bunny thought, well, this is funny. I wanted some new friends to meet. Maybe I'll try the house down the street. Benny knocked on Terry's door, a house no one else had been in before. The other animals shook with worry. We hope Benny hops out in a hurry. What if it's too late and he's on a dinner plate? Hours went by and Benny didn't come out. There was no sign, no hint, no shout. Polly, Catherine, Tommy and Bertie met together at about 6:30. They brought their sticks, their stones and their bricks, going to save Bunny from Terry's tiger tricks. They ran up together, burst into the house, but what did they find? A bunny and a mouse. Terry was small, not 1 foot tall, fragile, gentle and softer than all. What you foresee is my strength and my teeth, but do you ever wonder what lies beneath? Yes, I am large, fast and quick, but not here inside this house of brick. My heart is soft and kind and sad, but Benny the bunny has made me glad. He gave me a chance to be myself. He cares for me, my mind and my health. In a tiger's shell I felt so alone, but Benny held my hand here in my home. I've been Messine right from the start, but a true friend sees what's in the heart. Now simply, this story is about loneliness, and going deeper, it's about not feeling like you can present yourself authentically for what's within. Like people see you for a stereotype, maybe a mistake from the past, and you just struggle to feel seen. Now possibly there's a challenge here for Terry the tiger. Maybe he could have communicated a little bit better, been a bit braver to say, hey, you're wrong, stop treating me like that. We do have an element of control over how we represent ourselves, and we've certainly got a part to play in showing who we are to other people. But there's also a challenge for the Pollys, Catherines, Tommys and Berties. Apologies if that's your name, by the way. But there's a challenge there to give people the freedom to be who they are and to create an environment that is very accepting and welcoming and loving of whatever that may look like. God calls us to love our neighbour, and that doesn't just mean the person who lives next door. That means anyone. That means everyone. And what's loving about prejudice and stereotypes and not forgiving people for the past? Jesus was a major example of someone who would go out of his way to converse, love, build relationships with people who were outcast from society. Jesus went out and loved and healed the man with leprosy who was cast out of the city for his illness. Here we are talking about loneliness. Imagine that scenario. The woman at the well, who was not only a Samaritan, which is an important factor because Samaritans and Jewish people like Jesus did not engage. He spoke into her life about the multiple sexual partners she was having, and he gently gave her another way to live that would give her more freedom. He told her that the water she was drinking from the well was never going to quench that thirst and never going to satisfy what she was looking for, whereas he is the water of life and he will sustain her. Tax collectors, some of the most hated people out there because they were dishonest, greedy, and they would steal from people. Take the story of Zacchaeus. Jesus gave this tax collector a chance and he invested in him. And over an evening, Zacchaeus was completely transformed. He paid people back over and over what he had stolen from them. And he had a complete heart transformation. Terry the tiger, when he can't rely on people to see him for the person that he feels that he is, he can remember that God sees him for exactly who he is. God has seen him since before he was born, since God gave him his identity there and then, and also see him for the potential that he has, for the amazing things that God has got planned for his heart and for his life and his future.